Hello guys, and welcome back again to another amazing episode, and this is the diaspora transition episode where we talk to people who move back from the diaspora and currently living on the continent or even moving back and forth doing business and exploring the continent. On this episode we have here someone very special. I call her Cass. She's been touring Africa. She's been to South Africa. She have a whole content creating page. She does travel and tour. She invites people from the diaspora to come see Africa for the first time. And without further ado, Cass, welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for honoring my invitation to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Now, I know people are watching you for the first time. They don't know who you are. I briefly introduced you, but I know you can do a better job than I did. So can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Cass. For those who don't know me, I'm Cassy Isabella. I'm a travel content creator, and I own a group travel company called The Roaming Republic, where I curate trips for diasporans and people of color all over the world. And I'm very passionate about getting us out abroad and in Africa and to places that we are not seen often, because travel has changed my life, so I want others to experience the power of travel and how transformative it is. So I eat, breathe, sleep, travel, and that's what I do.
I like that. And then you were in South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, before South Africa came to the scene, or even before Africa came to the scene, where were you in the U.S.?
So I'm actually Canadian. Everybody thinks I'm American.
I think you're American.
I know, everybody thinks I'm American, but I'm actually Canadian. I'm from Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you were living in Toronto, and what happened, man? And you said Africa all of a sudden. What happened?
So I visited Africa for the first time in 2017. Ghana was my first intro to Africa, and then I visited South Africa so I visited Ghana in May, and then I visited South Africa in November, and I fell in love with Ghana, and I've been back every year since. When I visited South Africa, I was like, one day I'm going to live here, and so the opportunity came in 2021. I was working remotely, and I could live anywhere I wanted to. And so I just went on an Airbnb and started to look at where affordable properties were, and South Africa was always at the top of my mind. It's very modern, it's very like westernized, but you're still in Africa, so you still get the culture. So I felt like it was a good intro into living in Africa. And so I just booked a hotel, went there and started apartment hunting, and I lived there since October 2021.
Wow. And then you've been there ever since.
Yeah.
But I see you regular in Ghana. I see you doing your thing. And let me ask you, why did you felt like it was so important to bring diasporans, from the US, Canada, to come see Africa for the first time? Why?
I think it's an experience that everybody who was not born on the continent needs to experience, to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your roots. When I first visited here, I literally, tears fell down my eyes as I touched down on the ground, because for us, the experience is like, many of us can't trace our ancestry back to where it came from or where we came from. Most of us can only trace back at most 3-4 generations, if even that. So when I came here, it was like I'm walking on the ground where some of my untraceable ancestors have walked. I'm surrounded by people who look like me, and I felt very much at home. And we don't experience that in America or Canada. We feel very othered there. Obviously, there's a lot that goes on. That's another conversation, that we don't feel at home there. So coming here and experiencing that for the first time, I go to the clubs and everybody looks like me. I walk outside and everybody looks like me. It's not even a thought that you're black. It's not even a thought. I was just like, this is an incredible experience. And I feel like it's an important experience to reconnecting with yourself, getting to know yourself, that every diasporan needs to experience. And so I'm very passionate about curating experiences that make it easy for us to come back here. So yeah.
How many people did you bring last year, and how many did you bring this year?
Yeah.
Because I saw your platform, and big platform reposted. There's a photo you took in the Brick Gardens, very beautiful, and it was reposted by huge media houses.
Yes. So last year was our first trip to Ghana. I really wanted to let other group travel companies do it first, so I could let them make the errors and learn from it, because I know Ghana very well, and I feel like since the year of the return, there was an influx of tourists coming in, and I didn't feel like Ghana was necessarily ready for that amount of tourism. You know, there's not a lot of hotels. Like the service industry is not necessarily up to par with other places that are used to like the big influxes of tourism. So I wanted to let other people do it first before I was like, okay, I'm confident in bringing a group here. So I'd come back here myself year after year. And then 2021 was the first year I brought a group. I brought 25 people with me that year, and it was great. We had a great time. And then this year, in total, I had about 55 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Double that.
Yeah.
Wow. How was the experience like, you know, traveling to, you know, have you been to the Cape Coast dungeons?
Yes, absolutely. I've been to Cape Coast maybe 4 or 5 times now. Yeah.
Let me ask you, the first time you went to the dungeons, how was it like for you though?
It was a very emotional experience because I spent a lot of my high school years and younger years reading about the transatlantic slave trade, reading about African American history, reading about these sad parts of our history. So to stand in the place where prior to I'd only seen images in movies or the images were in my head, and to be there like really made it real, you know? It's one thing to read about it and be like, wow, this is sad what we've experienced, but to stand where some of our ancestors passed through and experience some of the most gruesome things was like, this is real, you know? It was very emotional, it was very heavy, and you leave Cape Coast really feeling like, I don't ever want to talk to another white person again.
Wow.
Like,
Really?
that's the experience. Like, I come back home, I remember going back home to Canada and feeling like, none of this that I'm experiencing is real. Like it just felt so like, I felt so disconnected from my home life after coming here and going through these things and experiencing things that like, you can't really explain to people unless they've gone there and seen it. And that's why I feel it's so important to I can explain it as much as I can, I can post about it as much as I can, but until you experience it for yourself, you don't fully grasp like the magnitude of coming back to Africa and visiting these monumental sites and being here and feeling at home. So
let me ask you how your guests who come on a trip feel when they go to the dungeons.
How you feeling? How you feeling, John?
Man, that's not
Heavy,
a good
huh?
feeling, yeah.
How you feeling, Britt?
I know you said from your perspective, but seeing them, what are some of the things that really stood out to you, you know, seeing them go through?
It was the same experience. So this year I didn't go through the castle with them. Last year I did, because I've been through it so many times, and I'm usually like planning the next thing while they're on the first excursion, so I didn't really have time to do everything with them. But they experienced a similar type of feelings, you know. It was very heavy for them when they were coming out. I saw them coming back onto the bus and like, it was just a heavy feeling amongst the group. I don't know if they were prepared for what they were going to be experiencing as well, or really, some people didn't even want to go because they already felt like it was going to be too heavy, but they ended up doing it. And one of my hosts gave them a little like moment to like debrief and process what they had felt after, so that was really good as well. And then it was New Year's Eve that we went, so we got to end the night partying. So and releasing that.
I like that. But you've been doing partying since you brought that.
Oh my gosh.
You've been doing partying.
Party after party.
December in Ghana. You've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Black Voter, I see you there. I see you everywhere.
Yeah.
Having your fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk about December in Ghana.
Yeah.
You've been partying since last night, isn't it?
Yeah, I have. That's why I have no voice left.
But how is it like? You were telling me behind cameras earlier on that it's weird. Only Ghana, you party like this only in Ghana.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think there must be crack in the air or something. Because only in Ghana can I go out at 2 o'clock in the morning and not get back till like 7, 8 a.m. and then do the same thing again and again. And when I had my group here, we have our experiences during the day. So we have like our cross city tour. We went to Cape Coast. We traveled to Kumasi for naming ceremonies by bus. So that was 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And like the night before, we were out partying until like 5 a.m. and our departure was like 6 a.m. So I'm like rushing back home, take a quick shower, change and hop on the bus and sleep on the bus and do it again every day. So only in Ghana do I have that energy. Like anywhere else, find me in my bed, please.
Wow.
Maybe 1 or 2 nights of partying till the morning, but Ghana just brings out a different.
It gives you new energy.
Yeah, and everybody, all of my friends, I had a group of maybe like 20 friends here outside of the roamers, and it's the same thing. Like, we just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. It's because there's just so much going on. You don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the one who is at home watching the stories of your friends at front back or Kruna or garage the night before.
Yeah.
You know.
Were you at Afrochella this?
Yes, absolutely. That's so our trip is curated around Afrochella or Afrofuture now.
Afrofuture.
Yeah.
And what about Black Star Line Festival?
Yes, I went to Black Star Line Festival.
What do you
as
think
well.
about it? How was it though?
Black Star Line Festival was really good. I enjoyed it. And I hope they bring it back again.
Okay.
I think it was a really good experience. Afrofuture was amazing as well. Our trip is actually curated around Afrofuture and Afrochella.
So what was the activities within that trip?
So they did a cross-city tour, so they went to the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, and then they did the Black Star Square, and then we go to Buka Restaurant for lunch, and then our first day we do a welcome dinner. We always do a themed welcome dinner, and then we went out to Garage. So people at Garage are good friends of mine, and they set us up there. They had an awesome night there. After their cross-city tour, they do Afrochella, day 1, and then party in the night. Day 3, we did a give back. So on all of our trips, we do a give back element where we visit like an orphanage or a school.
Wow.
So we visited Teshi Orphanage. That's where we did last year, and we came back again this year, and brought donations. So donations are included in the price of their package.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then we bring that, hang out with the kids. It was really nice. And then after that, they had a choice between ATVing or Shy Hills or going to Makola Market. So the group split up and did that. And then in the evening, again, more partying. I think we did Kruna that night. And then the following day, it was New Year's Eve. That's when we went to Cape Coast at Elmina Castle, and then came back and we went to the PVO an Afrochella party. That was like one of our favorite parties. It was such a good party at La Palme Hotel. And then the following day we went to Aqua Safari.
Okay, yeah.
So we spent in Ada. So we spent the day in Aqua Safari to cool down, process the trip, and then we went to Kumasi as well.
Okay.
So we do Kumasi. We traveled 5 hours for a naming ceremony there. So everybody,
Okay, wow.
So everybody got their traditional Ghanaian name. They were blessed by the elders. Got a kente cloth weave specifically for them. It was a really beautiful experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is your Ghana name?
I am Akosua Nkunim.
Akosia Nkunim.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Let me ask you though, why do you only do once a year, right?
So I'm considering doing another trip in the year. December is obviously the best time to come to Ghana.
Right.
Like, that's the full experience.
So many activities happening.
Yeah, there's so much going on, and it's just like, I think everybody needs to experience that December in Ghana. However, I am considering doing like a trip in maybe April for Easter, or like earlier in the year for people who want like a slower, chiller experience of Ghana.
Okay.
So
if someone is watching and they want to join, how do they go about it?
follow us at The Roaming Republic on Instagram, and turn your notifications on so that you're notified when our trips drop. So we have a long lineup of trips this year. We have South Africa, we have Bali, Vietnam, Philippines, Italy even. Of course, we're going back to Ghana. We do Thailand every year, and we have a long lineup of trips. So you got to turn your notifications on so that you're able to register once the trips drop, because they do fill out very, very fast.
Great. Grab it now. Now, you are a nomad, I would say.
Yeah.
You're a nomad. You've been traveling all around the world, living in Bali, soft life-ish.
Yeah.
Someone is watching and want to be like you. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I can say 2 things. One, if you have a passion that you can monetize and take it wherever you go, do that. I had started as a flight attendant and then transitioned into starting my travel company. So that's my passion.
You were a flight attendant?
Yeah, I was a flight attendant for 4 years.
I didn't know that. Which airline?
You won't know it. It's a Canadian airline called WestJet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I used to work for some Canadian
really?
telecom company,
Okay.
CIK.
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Anyways, that's besides the point.
Yes, so I was a flight attendant for 4 years, and that's how I got into travel content creating, and then eventually starting my travel company. So if you can turn a passion of yours into something that you can carry with you all over the world, do that. If you don't have something like that, find a remote job. Like, the pandemic has created so many remote job opportunities. You can literally get anything from a customer service job to a tech job to most fields have something that is remote that you can take with you anywhere in the world. So get a remote job, hire somebody to redo your resume if you need to, and that's literally all it takes. Choose where you want to go. What I did was I just chose where I wanted to go, booked a hotel for like 2 weeks, and apartment searched while I was in the hotel, and then made the move. If you have nothing attaching you to where you are, now is the time. Like, don't wait for the right time for you to be ready. I just got up and did it, literally, because I wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's a luxury. Most people watching right now want to make that move, but it just can't. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. What would you advise a diaspora feeling like that right now?
You can. If I can do it, anybody can. It's literally just about setting yourself up, obviously, with the monetary opportunity. If your lease is ending or you don't have an attachment again to home, get yourself a good paying remote job. That's the first step. Once you have the remote job, you have the freedom to go where you want to go. That is literally the first step. Sometimes it can feel like you can't because you don't see how, but I promise you, I decided I'm going to get my remote job. That way I have the freedom to go wherever I want to go. Once I had that, I felt like, why do I need to stay here if I don't have to, you know? So I think it's just about taking that step that makes it feel tangible.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, I know my audience would butcher me or kill me almost if I don't ask you this question. It's about relationship in Ghana. The last time I asked this question, someone said Ghanaian men are the most stingiest men she has ever met in his life. But I say Ghanaian men and West Africa, in the whole of West Africa, are the most faithful men you can ever find.
I say to sis, who hurt you? That is my question, because to make a generalized statement like that is very counterproductive, I think. I mean, there are stingy men in every culture. You will find stingy men everywhere, absolutely. My personal experience of Ghanaian men has not been that they are stingy. There are stingy Ghanaian men. There are Ghanaian men who will spoil you and take very good care of you, but I find Ghanaian men to be very loving, very kind. When I'm dating in Ghana, I feel like, man, the standard is elevated because the Western men do not treat you the same way Western African men do. I feel like they treat you very well. They want to take care of you for the most part. Now, there's a difference between a Western African man and a Western African man who's from the diaspora, you know? So those are two different things. I've had positive experiences. Honestly, being single in Ghana is probably one of the best experiences you can have.
Being single in Ghana?
Yeah, in December. It's a fun time. It's just a fun time. There's so much. You meet so many people. It's just a really fun time. I think that coming to Ghana in December, being single is just a better experience.
You go on dates and stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna go on dates. You're gonna meet people. You're gonna have more fun. You're gonna
try going on dates.
Yeah, I go on a couple dates here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this, right? I asked someone, rate the Ghanaian men on a scale of 1 to 10 based on only your experience. I know you've never dated all Ghanaian men, but rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. What would that number be?
I would say if I have to generalize, I would say 8 out of 10.
8.
I definitely feel like my husband is from Western Africa. I don't know if he's necessarily from Ghana, but he's from Western Africa. So if he's out there,
future husband. All right, so we're almost at the end of the conversation. I want you to, kind of connect with the people watching you. I still think there's more to tell them. Tell me about, life growing up in Canada, and even up till you start working with the airlines, just for them to get, to know you more.
So being a little black girl in Canada is it's a very unique experience because you don't grow up around people who look like you, obviously. Your sense of identity is really we didn't really, especially if you're a black person in Canada, we don't really have a sense of identity growing up. So you look to shows like BT, to Americans, to what's going on TV for what does being black mean. So that's why, but I'm also Haitian. So my mom is very very, very black. She's always instilled in us like blackness and love for yourself and whatnot. But that's very difficult when everybody else doesn't look like you, and like you're going to school and like the kids are making fun of your braids or how big your butt is or your skin color, you know? So that is also even more so why coming to Africa and experiencing feeling like not feeling othered and feeling very much like I'm at home, everyone looks like me, you feel very welcomed is such an important experience that every diaspora, every black person needs to experience at some point of their life, because it really instills a strong sense of identity in you. So growing up, I always wanted to travel. I wanted to experience the world. I was always an imaginative person, but I actually didn't get on a plane until I was like 21. That was the first time on a plane that was to America. My first time outside of North America was to Costa Rica when I was like 24, I believe. It was actually, let me know.
No, tell me. No, let's go. What is it? It was actually what? Now the people are watching, they're like curious.
So how I got into travel is such a funny story. I was engaged, right? Okay. And we called off our wedding like the week before the wedding. And then I'd always wanted to be a flight attendant, but he wasn't very supportive of that job because it was like, you're gonna be a wife, so that's not really a job for somebody who's gonna be a wife.
Wow.
So when we broke up, I don't know if I want to say this.
Let's go. Wow.
When we called off the wedding, the honeymoon was already paid for. So he was like, I'm going on the honeymoon still. And I was like, well, I'm going too,
so let's just do it.
So we went on the honeymoon. I just called the travel agent to make sure there was 2 beds in all the rooms. And we went on the honeymoon, and that was my first time outside of Canada. So we went to Costa Rica, and I was like, I need to do this more. Like, I love this so much. Outside of the circumstances, the Costa Rica itself, I fell in love with it. So when I came back, a week after that, I applied to be a flight attendant, and literally a month to the day when I was supposed to get married, I got the job as a flight attendant, and then my life just changed. So I deleted all my Instagram pictures, I changed my Instagram name to Bella Worldwide, and then I was like, I'm only gonna post when I travel.
Wow.
So I just posted travel photos, and because I didn't want to post personal stuff anymore. I just gone through something that was really like, I didn't want everybody knew us, and like it was very public breakup. So I just wanted my stuff to be very like surface level. So I'm like,
you got so lucky, you were almost trapped.
Yes, oh my gosh, I really did. I think both of us did. Like it was for the best. It was for the best. I'm so grateful for that experience, and I'm grateful that I didn't go through with that because I wouldn't be here right now.
Yes.
But I became a flight attendant. My life changed. I started to travel, and then other travel pages started to pick up my photos, and then all my friends and people were getting really inspired by my travel, because the other thing too is Black Canadians don't really travel outside of Jamaica, New York, and Miami. That's where we go.
Yeah.
Because travel for Canadians is expensive.
Oh wow.
So a lot of my friends were like, wow, like how are you doing this? They were really inspired by me getting out there, traveling to places that they were afraid to travel to.
All
and
kinds
then
of to travel.
Yeah. And then my page was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I met my co-founder, Sed, through a Black travel community that my friend Sheldon had built. Shout out Swipe Season. So Sed and I met through this community, and we planned a Thailand trip together, a group trip together.
Oh, wow.
So I at the time was planning like Black travel meetups in like New York and stuff like that, and hosting groups like that. And then we collaborated on a trip to Thailand in 2018, and it went viral. It went all over Instagram because we did like a themed photo shoot, and the hashtag was Bot and Bougie. So the currency in Thailand is called a bot. So our hashtag was Bot and Bougie.
Oh, wow.
And then it just went viral.
Wow.
We came back, we dropped another Thailand trip. It sold out in 24 hours.
Wow.
And then we dropped the Costa Rica trip because at the time that was like where that was my first solo trip, and that sold out. And then we just kept dropping trips, and then we decided to come up with a company. We came up with the Roaming Republic, designed the logo, I built the website, and by 2018 December we had launched, and we just had so much support from our communities because we already had a bunch of people who wanted to travel with us, and it just grew really, really fast. And he passed away in May 2019, unfortunately, after we only got to do 2 trips together. And so I've just continued it because there was nothing else to do. Like didn't really think about it. It was just like, this is what we started. It's what I'm passionate about. Said would have wanted us to continue. So we continued it, and it's been 4 years now.
Wow.
Since I started that, and literally would not be here right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since I started that, and literally would not be here right now if I had gone through
With that marriage.
with that marriage. So
Wow,
sis,
so you don't regret that? You
don't regret it at all. Sis, if you having doubts, get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Get out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
But
not gonna curse.
Roman Republic is amazing. What you've been doing is really impressive.
you.
I've been following you and liking your projects. I am a content creator myself, and seeing at the pace at which you work, flying your own drones, editing your videos, it's just amazing.
Thank you.
I commend you that. But that's not the only thing you do, right? Talking about content creating, you do other stuff.
Yes. Travel is literally my life. Outside of that, like professionally, I work in tech as well. I have a background in event planning, and I was also a social worker. That's where my field of study. I'm just very passionate about people. I'm passionate about healing. I'm passionate about getting people to experience things that get you to become your best self. And travel was a tool that really did that for me. It's healed me in so many ways. It's saved me in so many ways. It's changed my life in so many ways. So I create content. I'm currently about to go to Kenya to work with a brand called AFICA. We're partnering with them for our Kenya trip this year and some other trips on the continent as well. So I'll be shooting content, sharing Kenya with you this week as well. I think I'm most passionate about getting us to travel to Africa. I also love Southeast Asia, but just getting Black people to travel and experience travel the way I have is my life's work. I really feel like I found my passion.
Is it hard convincing Black people to travel?
No.
No?
People want to do it. Sometimes they just don't know how or who to go with, or maybe their friends don't want to travel with them, so they don't have people to travel with, and that's where the Roaming Republic comes into play.
Because now it's group.
So we're not just a group travel company. Like, there's a lot of group travel companies out there, but what we do is we've built a community. So when you travel with us, you become a roamer. That's so all of our travelers are called roamers. So it's like, people kind of call it like a society. These are, if you see us throwing these up, these are sign language R's. So this is our an R in sign language. So that's why
I think it means something somewhere in the US too.
It's probably a gang sign somewhere. But for us, it's R's. This is our symbol, and so we built a community. So when you travel with us, you become a part of this community of people. So some people haven't even been on the same trips, but just because they're both roamers, they'll connect on Instagram, they'll meet up. You know, we have a meetup coming up in Houston in February. So a bunch of roamers from all over different trips will be meeting up. We did a Friendsgiving in Atlanta in November. So it's a community. You become a part of this community, this family, and we also don't do like big hotels. We always do villas or small boutique hotels. That way we have the entire space to ourselves. So it feels like you're creating a home where you roamed, you know? Because home is where you roam.
I saw what you did there.
Yeah, home is where you roam. So the entire concept is like, home should not be limited to like where you were born or like a series of walls. You can create home wherever you travel to. Home is the people, the feel, the vibe that you create wherever you go. And so we try to create a home-like feel wherever we take our roamers, and that contributes to this like building of a community and like a fellowship amongst us. So it's more than just a group travel company. You don't just, it's not a one and done thing. You come and you stay for a long time and a good time.
I like that.
Yeah.
Become a Roma, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you know, people are watching you, the men mostly are like, wow, what a powerful and wonderful young woman, and very pretty.
Thank you.
You know, smart, intelligent.
Thank you.
Who is the lucky one?
There is no lucky one as of right now.
Okay, you're single.
I'm single. Yes, I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know how I do it every day. If you're watching this and you are the man, okay, slide in that DM.
Oh my gosh! Please don't come with no dead energy. Please, please. Well, respectable men only, please.
Respect yourself, guys.
No games. I'm not here for the games.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, you gave your main Instagram, your Roman.
Yes.
But I want your personal Instagram.
My personal Instagram is Bella Worldwide, so you can follow me there. And my company is The Roaming Republic. The Roaming Republic.
I'll put everything on the screen so it's easier, and also in the description you can just click it and just go right there. Now I want you to you lived in South Africa, you visited Ghana, you've seen, the foreshore, the inconveniences. What has been your greatest challenge, so far on the continent? And then right after that, if you have something to change on the continent, what would that be?
That's a really great question. So my greatest challenge living on the continent in South Africa specifically, this is something specific to South Africa, is the safety.
Safety.
Yeah, so as much as I love South Africa, the safety is a problem, there's a lot of gender-based violence. So certain things that I can't do, like walk outside at night. I have to keep my phone like inside my pocket. Like you can't just keep your phone outside in your hand. Yeah, my phone was snatched out of my hand in Johannesburg while I was walking down the road. Somebody just snatched it out of my hand and ran into a waiting car. My phone is now living its best life in India. I have not
you tracked it to India?
I have not been to India, but my phone has, so I hope it's enjoying.
Whoa, this is wild.
Yeah, so those are things you have to think about. You don't want to use Bolt if you're in South Africa. You want to use Uber because the Bolt drivers are not registered and they're known to like try and kidnap women.
Wow.
So there's things you have to adjust around. I love South Africa. I love my lifestyle there, but that's something that I had to be conscious of. Like I will only live in a big building that has security. I'm not going to live in a neighborhood, like a fancy neighborhood where I'm just in a house by myself because there's a potential of being robbed if you're. So those are things you have to think about. But also those are things Americans have to think about if you're living in the hood or in certain areas. So it's not much different. And for what I get, I feel like it's worth it for me.
Wow.
That's not something you have to think about necessarily in Ghana, So I can't say like living on the continent, there's a generalized experience. Every country is different, obviously. But that's something that was my biggest challenge in South Africa. The other thing too is like majority of the wealth is held by white people. So I don't remember the exact stats, but I remember years ago it was like 97, like I think white South Africans make up maybe like less than 10% of the population, but they hold like 97% of the wealth.
Wow.
So like I might be inflating the numbers, but like it's something crazy like that, and you see that and you experience that, especially living in Cape Town. So it's like, yeah, you're in Africa, but you don't really necessarily feel like you're in Africa until you go to certain neighborhoods in certain areas. So
wow,
that's the challenge with South Africa. But in terms of what I would change on the continent, oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question. I would love to see that like the inter-country relations improve. Like it should be easier to travel from country to country. There should be like more continental airlines that make it cheaper to travel, like the way it is in Europe or the way it is in America, which is a country, but like still they're huge, and to travel from one state to another is very cheap. In Europe, to travel from country to country, you can pay as cheap as $50. I feel like it should be the same in Africa. So I would love to see it like just the inter-country relations be a lot better, a lot stronger. And I just want to see more diasporans come back here. I would love to see the relationships between diasporans and Africans just improve, and in ways that benefit both parties.
I like that. Now, before I let you go, I want you to send a final message to the diaspora watching, and people, your fans all over the world. But before you do that, right? Okay, so talking about safety, will you say you feel more safe in Ghana than you did in South Africa? Oh,
absolutely. So that's something I don't. This is obviously petty crimes can happen here, but like generally Ghanaians are very friendly and safe people. You're not gonna worry about like necessarily being kidnapped or like robbed somewhere. Like you might worry about getting your phone stolen or like anywhere else, but safety is not a big problem here. The only thing is that frustrates me the most about Ghana is the Uber drivers. The Uber drivers, if they don't like where you are going, they will just leave you stranded on the side of the road. I remember in 2020, I was out at a party until like 2 a.m. and 5 Uber drivers, one after the other, came to me, asked me, please, where are you going? And I told them I was staying in Tema at the time. Every single one of them canceled, one after the other. Until the 5th Uber driver, the security guard, begged him to take me. Wow. He was like, please take her. She needs to go home. And I'm like, I'm a woman. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You guys are all men who have left me here on the side of the road. Why would you do that?
I've heard Uber drivers are really tripping when it comes to that.
Oh my gosh.
But wow. So what do you think they can do differently to change, that? Because it's a huge problem. I've had every single person I meet complain about Uber.
There needs to be more regulations surrounding it. I feel like in North America there must be some regulations that like are stricter, that make Uber safer and more reliable. I don't feel like there are any regulations around Uber Ghana. Like, if the drivers are getting low ratings,
Like
they should be.
penalties when
Yeah,
they
there needs to be
cancel and stuff like
penalties,
that.
penalties for cancellations. I don't think there's any penalties. There can't be, because the way they cancel,
Yeah, it's
there can't be any
ridiculous.
penalties.
Wow.
And so I think there needs to be more regulations around that, more standards around like the cars that they drive, because you'll get cars that are going to break down on the side of the road for you as well. Like, I've had to drive an Uber car myself once.
What happened?
The guy got into a ditch, and well, this is not necessarily his fault, but he got into a ditch, and I had to drive the car out of the ditch while they
So
pushed
he
the car.
pushed that?
Yeah. So that's the other thing. The roads.
Isn't it
The roads.
adventurous?
The roads in Ghana. You know.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
It's like that's a problem too. So these are the little things, but like, despite those things, like, Ghana is still a beautiful place to visit. I love it dearly. It feels like home to me, and I will always come back again and again and again. And I always like advocate visiting Ghana and traveling here, because I love it despite those things.
I like that. I like it. Now, most people like food when they travel. They'd love to try new food. Have you tried Ghanaian foods? What is your favorite so far?
I would say the way Ghanaians make tilapia is the best tilapia. This is the only place I'll eat tilapia, and like kelewele, of course. I don't eat chicken, so I'm a little bit restricted as to what I eat.
Okay.
But jollof, tilapia, and kelewele is my ideal plate.
Like your favorite?
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, it's been an amazing conversation. She's awesome. I must say, you make the conversation so, beautiful. And if you want to follow her, all her social media would be on the screen. And yeah, send your final message to the people watching.
To the people watching, if you haven't visited the continent, visit the continent. My favorites are Ghana and South Africa. But obviously we're in Ghana here, so I'm telling you, you must visit Ghana. If you're afraid of doing it yourself, you can always travel with us. The Roaming Republic, we got you. But yeah, travel to Africa.
I was about to say you should put that again.
My mic has...
3, 2, 1, rolling.
So for those...
We've had an amazing conversation. You are so amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show. Guys, all her social medias will be on the screen and also in the description. Go and check her out. Now, before I let you go, I want you to give your final and last message to those watching right now.
My final message to you is, if you have not traveled to the continent, make that move now. If you don't know where to start, you can start with us, the Roaming Republic. We are happy to welcome you to the family, welcome you to the community, welcome you to the continent with us. Traveling to Africa is a life-changing experience. It's a transformative experience that every diaspora needs to experience. And Ghana is a great place to start. So if you haven't been to Ghana yet, add it to your list for 2023. You are missing out if you haven't done it. I travel.
Like that. What's your favorite country in Africa in December?
Ghana. I cannot do a December. If I'm not in Ghana in December, just cancel December.
Yeah?
Yes, Ghana in December, no December at all.
Yeah?
That's how I feel about it.
Wow, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been an amazing conversation, and if you did enjoy the episode, I want you to like the video, share to friends and family. Go into the comment section. Let's get the engagement going. Do you agree with her saying Ghanaian men are lovely? You believe they are seeing you? Whatever it is, comment down below, and yeah, let's keep the ball rolling. Also, check her out. She's doing amazing on the continent, living in South Africa, bringing people in to Ghana, doing a whole amazing things on the continent. So please go check it out, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Let's say bye-bye to them.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Cassy Isabella, also known as Bella Worldwide, and you are watching Diaspora Transition with Webnation Africa.